Hello, hello. Welcome to whoever's in the room. I can't see who you are, but thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. Mm, mm, mm. Whoever's watching, I hope you're having a great day so far. Hope you had a great week. Just gonna wait a few minutes just to see some people come in the room and see if anybody has any questions for me. I'm gonna wait until it's been about 5 minutes and then I will go ahead and get started. Oh, a couple people got another person in the room. Welcome to my live Q&A for today. I've never done a live before, so I just figured it'd be something fun to do, something fun to engage with people, to get some questions answered. And if you will, I have some questions already that I've been asked, so I'm going to answer those. But if you all have any questions along the way, then feel free to ask. Wait about another 45 seconds, and then we'll get started. Can you all hear me okay? I guess you can just give me a thumbs up, um, just to let me know if you can hear me okay. Okay, so we will go ahead and get started. So the first question that I was asked is, how has becoming a content creator benefited? How has it benefited you, or negatively affected you? Sorry, let me start over. How has becoming a content creator benefited or negatively affected your life, and how do you handle the pressure? Wow. I would say that it's benefited my life tremendously because I met a lot of dope content creators. I've met a lot of people in a lot of different businesses. I've grown as a creator. I've started to do things that I didn't think that I would ever do. I've started to tap into things again that I've never thought I would tap into again. I went to college for graphic design, but haven't done anything with graphic design since college. But lately, most recently, I've been using Photoshop a lot to create and design my thumbnails. And for each thumbnail that I create, the more and more knowledgeable I become of Photoshop again. To the point where now I think I'm getting closer to a point where I could actually do that as part of my business, which again is something that I felt like I couldn't do anymore, or just didn't have a passion to do anymore. But now that that's at my disposal again, it's I can just continue to grow and grow and grow in Photoshop, and then also make that a part of my business. How it's negatively affected my life? I'd say it's negatively affected my life just in the fact that when I start creating content, I get in the zone. So there are sometimes where I'm just so far deep in the zone that I don't eat. Uh, I'm not getting the sleep that I need. And it's just, I have to remind myself, okay, no, you need to sleep. I never have to remind myself, okay, no, you need to get up and eat something. Because I can go all day without eating if I'm creating content. And it's not good. I also have to sometimes just say, okay, now's not the time. You need to spend time with family. Now is not the time. You need to do X, Y, Z. Take care of household things. Take care, get out of the house and take care of some things. So I would say that's how it's negatively affected me. But overall, it's been great. How do I handle the pressure? Honestly, a lot of prayer. Prayer, just listening to music, talking to my wife. What's up, Tristan? Talking to my wife, just talking to other creatives. Like, I think just getting my thoughts out just allows me to handle the pressure. But at the same time, I also work great under pressure. I feel like I work better under pressure than not under pressure, which is not good for me. But it's not good that I work under pressure, but I also know that I work better that way, if that makes sense. So, Tristan, you have a question? I'm gonna go to my next question. Uh, Tristan, do you have a question first before I go to my next question? I'll give you a second to see if you have one. Okay. Okay. Yes. What's your question? Shaved head or dreads? So for those of you that don't know, I used to have dreads. I think if I had still had dreads, I would say dreads because I would not have cut them. Now, looking back on it, I would not have cut them. Um, but overall, I would just say shaved head. It's so much easier. So dreads, I prefer dreads, but just where I'm at now in life, it's shaved head because it's easier. Okay. And if you have any more questions, feel free to just pour them in. Don't wait on me to ask. If you have questions, just go ahead and ask them. Um, my next question is, what is the most enjoyable part of being a dad? Oh man, I would say the most enjoyable part of being a dad is just watching my little one grow up, watching her just blossom into a beautiful young lady. She's filled with so much joy. She has such a great big smile. Even when she does things that make me go, ah, like she just smiles and it like brightens up the room. And it's like you can't help but just smile back. Like you can't be mad at her because one, she's just a baby, and two, it's like her smile just it melts your heart. And just watching her grow up, watching her smile, watching her learn and do new things, it's simply amazing. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Um, yeah, I love her so much. It just again watching her grow up, watching her do new things. Those are the things that are enjoyable about being a dad. Seeing her take her steps, seeing her crawl for the first time, seeing her um, just uh, just being amazing, just being amazing. Like that's what makes it enjoyable about being a dad. What's up, my brother? What is the most difficult part of photography? Man, um, the most difficult part of photography to me is the most difficult part of photography. That's a great question. I don't know if I have an answer for that. I would say the editing process. Editing for photography can be tedious. Video editing can be tedious as well, but I definitely prefer video editing over photo editing. Video editing can be tedious, but also just sometimes, honestly, just dealing with clients. That part can be tedious as well because you always strive to for excellence when dealing with clients. But I would say 1A is editing, and then 1B is just sometimes you just have difficult clients, and there's just no way around that. Um, but yeah. Any other questions before I go on to my next question that I have? Appreciate you stopping in too, Brainer. I was asked Prince or Michael Jackson. I feel like there's only one right answer to that, and the answer to that is Michael Jackson. We grew up in a Michael Jackson home. Um, We did not to say that we didn't listen to Prince, but it was MJ all the way. I can't name you 5 Prince songs. I know Dove's Cry and I know Purple Rain. Outside of that, I don't know any other ones. What is my favorite part of photography? My favorite part of photography, honestly, is just capturing people in the moment. I would say I love event photography, just capturing people in their moment, just capturing people with big smiles. But I also love when I have photo shoots with people and they're just so natural with it. Like they're smiling, they're spinning, they're doing whatever. It's just like they have their whole flow. And there's nothing wrong if people don't do that. I think I just get more out of it when I see how excited they are about their photo shoot, and they're more excited than I am. Because I've had some photo shoots where the people aren't really into it, or the people I'm photographing are getting into it, and it just makes for like a difficult thing. But when my favorite part of photography is capturing people in their element, or capturing people as they are, and just enjoying themselves and enjoying it literally as if nobody is watching, even though I'm there taking the picture. So I would say that's my favorite part of photography. Again, welcome to everybody who's in the room now. This is my live Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a question at any time. You don't have to wait for me to ask. What's the worst, the worst photo shoot I ever had? And how did I meet my wife? How did I meet my wife? I'm not sure I'm going to answer that one, only because I have a video planned for that one. But because you asked, I feel like I should. But what is the worst photo shoot I ever had? There's a photo, I think it was one of my early photo shoots. Hey, Handy. Sorry, Handy. Hi, Handy. Hi, Chan. Hi, Vandy. The worst photo shoot I ever had was there was a photo shoot that I had with a couple for their son's first birthday party. No, not first birthday, first birthday. And I'm out there doing this shoot. It was supposed to be an hour-long shoot, and it ended up only being like 20 to 30 minutes because the husband didn't really want to be there, and him and the wife were just cussing each other out the whole time. Made it awkward for me because I'm like, okay. It was really awkward. So I would definitely say that was my worst photo shoot because I already don't like being around couples arguing anyway. So when they're like cussing each other out, and then I felt bad because the baby was there. So I would say that was definitely my worst photo shoot. How did I meet Chanel? I met my wife. I met her at a Bible study. And before we actually met, there were two people who actually tried to hook us up. But I'll save that. I'm going to save that for a video. I'm not going to go into more detail. I'm just going to save that for another video. But yes, I met her at a Bible study, and I almost fell in love instantly, but she played me. Anyway, what do you think is the best beginner's camera? So I would recommend probably a Canon or a Sony camera. I have Nikon. I'm a Nikon guy all the way, but I would definitely recommend a Canon camera or a Sony camera for a beginner. Most beginner cameras the range is up around $500 or so. Which if you're just starting out, it could sound expensive, but cameras typically cost anywhere from $1,000 on up. But again, the beginner cameras are range around 500. Because I'm not familiar with the Canon or Sony type of camera, I can't tell you like what camera is at that price. But like I know that like the Nikon's, their 3300 series or the 3000 series is at about 500. So whatever is the equivalent to that on Canon. DeMarcus, what's up? So if you all have been watching my videos lately, I've talked a lot about me being in a YouTube engagement group. And if you saw my video about the power of networking and how there was this guy who like randomly messaged me, DeMarcus, he is the guy who messaged me, and I'm glad that he did. I'm glad that I wasn't too skeptical to not do it, but he's the one who messaged me and got me in this group and got me to the point where I am now on my channel. So I thank you, sir. I thank you so much. What aspect of photography and videography do you enjoy the most? It's just memories. I love the memories that I capture with photo or video. And sometimes it's not even things that I capture on camera. It's just being in the moment. There's a birthday party I did, a 60th birthday party I did, where I captured the entire event and had fun capturing it. But then the host told me to come dance. So I'm not going to turn down a good dance. I love to get down. So I had fun doing it. Again, it's sometimes it's the memories that you don't capture on camera, but it's just, again, capturing people in their element. I love to see people smiling. I love to see people having fun. I love to see people just having a good time. So that's definitely the aspect that I enjoy the most. You're right. All that does matter is that I won her over. When I proposed to her, Brandon and Vandy, you would know this because y'all were there. But when I proposed to my wife, we had already started planning our wedding, but I still felt like proposing to her was the right thing to do. And I had this big poster that was printed for her, and on the poster it said, "You don't have a choice." So at that point, I knew I had won her over. So you're right, I got her. What app do I use for my thumbnails? What app do I use? Primarily I use Canva. Primarily I use Canva to do my thumbnails, which is, you can just go to canva.com and you can really do a lot with social media stuff, like for Instagram posts, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. But I specifically have been using them for my thumbnails. But yes, Canva is amazing, Chan. But recently I've also started using Photoshop. And in case you all missed it, when I was talking earlier, I was saying that I actually went to school for graphic design, to college for graphic design, but had gotten away from it. But recently I've started trying to do work in Photoshop for my thumbnails, and I'm getting a lot better at it, to the point where I feel like I could add that to my business. So I'm excited about that. So Canva and Photoshop. And my hope is that one day I can get to the point where I no longer need Canva and can just use Photoshop and Photoshop alone. The funniest event you've been hired for? Ooh, the funniest event I've been hired for. I would say the funniest event I've been hired for would have to be, it was a comedy show. So it's hard not to laugh at a comedy show. But some of the jokes that were told on that night, oh my gosh! Like one woman, it was two guys and a woman, and the woman, she told a joke about how she went on a date with a guy who was narcoleptic, and how, like, he was a heavyset guy, he was narcoleptic, so he was trying to. They were out on a date, and he was talking to her, and he was running out of breath as he was talking. But then, in the middle of him talking, he fell asleep, and she's like, what just happened? And then he woke up and then just like picked up the conversation where he left off. And when I tell you, like, the entire place was crying, laughing. Um, to me, yeah, that was just one of the funniest things that I was a part of, the funniest event that I was a part of. I actually still have her set on in video, so I might have to go back and look at that one again. Um, what was your favorite? What was your first impression of meeting your wife's family? Were you scared to meet her parents? So here's the thing. My first time meeting her family was not necessarily under. It wasn't the best of circumstances, and I say that because I was actually at Vandy. I was at your birthday party, and I left your party early to go to see her family because I had just recently met them. Well, I just recently met them and just recently been hanging out with Chanel and her sister. But they had sent a message saying that they had to put their dog down. So I left the party to go be with them since they had to put their dog down. And that was my first time meeting the entire family. So it wasn't really under the best of circumstances. I will say that Chanel was crying, her dad was sitting right there, and I was just like, man, I kind of want to put my arm around her to comfort her, but her dad was sitting right there, and I didn't know what he was going to think. And I ain't no sucker. But at the same time, I was like, I'ma just wait. I'ma just wait. So that was my first impression. The next big move with your business. Uh Santana doesn't have a question when he said you're the best. Tell him I said thank you. If you have not seen my nephew Santana's video that I've done with him, you all should check that out. Um, Let me say this. I My YouTube journey started with an interview series that I have called the Christian Creative, and the purpose behind the Christian Creative was for me to interview Christians and highlight Christian creativity, promote it, encourage it. And it's not to say that people who aren't Christians aren't creative, because we know that they are. We know for a fact that they are. But because I'm a Christian, I wanted to put that spotlight on Christian creativity. And I've done over 30 interviews, and one of the people that I interviewed was my nephew, who was 6 at the time. So make sure that you all check out his interview. It's I think it was number around the 30th interview that I actually had done. So his was funny. The next big move with your business. Where do you see you moving to in the upcoming years? Um, that's a great question. The next big, why can't I say that? The next big move with my business. Where do you see? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I think every year I surprise myself, because if you would have told me last year that I'd be doing more with Photoshop and with graphic design, I wouldn't have believed it, because Photoshop was not in my repertoire anymore. It wasn't anything that I used. What I can say is that one day on my bucket list, I only want to do one. I don't need to do more than one, but I want to do a movie. A movie is on my bucket list of things that I do want to do. Um, whether it's shooting it, whether it's writing, whether it's producing in some form or fashion, I want to do movies. I love movies. I'm a big movie person, and that is one thing that I would love to do. You guys are live in this chat. I appreciate y'all so much. I have another question, another pre-requested question. It was, what brought you into making video content? Again, it was my series, The Christian Creative. I was already doing videography at that time, but the Christian creative is what brought me into doing video content. And then when COVID hit, I was like kind of stuck on like what should I do? Because the whole thing with the Christian creative was that I was doing live, or I was interviewing people in person. And because of COVID, it was like, well, I can't do that anymore. Especially with the early restrictions, I was like, I can't do that. So what do I do? So I had started a series called Stories of My Life, where I'm just sitting in front of the camera, just sharing my stories and not knowing what to expect, but just like, okay, this is my story. This is what I've been through. Some of them are funny, some of them are serious, but in every one, I either get responses of people laughing or people saying they can relate. Even the one I released yesterday, that video I recorded, my I recorded that video last year, but I never got a chance to finish editing it. I never got a chance to put it out, and I posted it yesterday, and just the feedback and the responses that I got of people either have been through the same thing, or are going through the same thing. It's just God's timing is always perfect. So you never know what God's timing is or when somebody needs something, but it's always right on time. What is the next question? Thank you. I need to do more vlogs. So here's the thing. I before I've been turned off by vlogs. And the reason why I've been turned off by vlogs is it's partially because of the fact I don't like reality TV, but also because and I'm sure that some of you may have experienced this, but I don't like when I go to a vlog to check out to see whatever the information is that I need. Like how to make a burger in 3 minutes. Just using that as an example. So let's say how to make a burger in 3 minutes, but then how to make the burger part doesn't come until the 8-minute mark. So it's like 8 minutes of nothing. And it's just like, well, why am I watching this? Like, why couldn't you just like, or at least put it in the description saying, hey, this is when it started, versus me like kind of fast forwarding. So I will honestly say it wasn't until I got in the engagement group that I had actually started to like vlogs. So I'm still coming off of that, not liking them, but I'm enjoying them more than I used to. So all that to say, I'm still not necessarily big on the vlogs, but when I have things to do, then I will do more of them, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. When are you going to come back and see Jordan? I think you meant so you guys can see Jordan. Jordan is the name of my daughter. I don't know. I've been so busy. Blame DeMarcus. DeMarcus has had me super busy with March Madness. Well, DeMarcus and Sean. They have had me super, super busy with March Madness. Soon. This or that, chicken noodles or beef noodles. If this was meant in regards to soup, I would say beef, but anybody who knows me and knows me well knows that I do not like soup. I personally feel like soup is a waste of liquid, but I'll go with beef over chicken. Yeah. Hit me with some more questions. What questions do you all have? Popeyes or Popeyes? Well, I'll take neither for 500, Alex. KFC is the way to go. KFC is much better than Popeyes. Shane, I believe you said that. I think, what did you say? Popeyes or KFC is the bomb in Jamaica. I forget which one you said, but I'm definitely going with KFC on that one. I'm sorry. KFC kind of. I'm sorry to hear that. Is my wife a part of my business? My wife is a part of my business by default. She is a part of my business in the sense that she's my wife. So anything that I do, I'll say this: a lot of the videos that I do, not all of them, but there are certain videos that I do where she'll look at it and she'll be like, "Oh, you need to change that," or "Why have you thought about doing this?" So she is the brains behind some of the videos that I do or the way I construct things. Because for me, I'm just like, well, it just needs to be like this, and I have tunnel vision. And she's like, well, why don't you do it like this? And in my mind, I'm like, but I didn't want to do it like that. But when I get the feedback from people when I did it her way, it's just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, or this is great. Da, da, da. So she is a part of it in that sense, but she's very hands off in everything else, if that makes sense. She actually has her own business that I'm trying to get her to start back up. She has her own candle business. She makes candles, and she hasn't made them in some time, but I'm trying to get her to get back on that because people love her candles. I love her candles. Um, and she is amazing at it. Thank you. I appreciate you because I swear there are some days where I'm just like, I am so over this. I do not want to do this anymore. But we are more than halfway through the March Madness Challenge. So this is day 20, and this is considered one of my videos. So it's only 11 more days to go. What is the most time consuming? Your business, being a father, or being a husband? That's a great question. I would say, and I take it you didn't mean this in a negative way, and because I don't believe that you did, but I would say definitely being a father because my baby, she'll be 11 months on Monday. Woohoo! She'll be 11 months on Monday, and it's you can't do anything but watch her. She's at the point now where she's into everything, crawling all over the place. She knows how to get to wherever she wants to be. Um, just yesterday, I had a slip up where I was watching her, but just in disbelief at the same time, and she took a tumble over the couch. She's okay. She's okay. She did not cry, but it's just an example of um, it's just an example of not being, or always have to keep my eyes on her because she's always into something and she's growing so fast. So that's definitely the most time consuming thing, followed by being a husband and then and then my business. Because business is great. I enjoy what I do, but I also have to make sure that I put my wife and the baby first. Please do not drop 16 ads after this video. YouTube might, because it's too bad Sean's not here to see that joke, but that's funny. That is funny. What other questions do you guys have? DeMarcus come with all the questions today. How old am I? I am old according to my nieces and nephews. I am 34. I'm getting ready to turn 35 in April, and I am super excited. I actually have something super dope planned for my birthday. A premiere that I'm going to do. So I'm planning a premiere for my birthday of a video that I'm doing, and if everybody could jump on the premiere and just watch it and comment with me, then that would be amazing. Like that would make me happy. I'm really looking forward to that. And then, for those of you all who are in the chat, um, Demarcus, I don't even know how to say your name. Divisionaires Media. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. Demarcus is also a dope videographer. Hanny, Hanny, I don't even know how to say your name, Hanny. Make sure y'all subscribe to her channel as well as Chan. They are all a part of my engagement group. They all have dope content. Make sure that you all subscribe to their channels as well. Am I going to grow my hair back? No, I'm not going to grow my hair back. My wife will not allow me to grow my hair back. She says I'm too old. Plus, I have like this little spot right here in the back, and it's not growing the way I want it to. Do I find promoting my? You know what? Promoting my business? And sorry for the screen shaking. My computer is sitting on a desk riser, so anytime I go like this, then it causes the screen to move. Is my promoting my business difficult? I would say that I have found that promoting my business very difficult. But here's what changed. I would promote it, I wouldn't get any responses, and it would frustrate me to no end. It would really frustrate me. And uh, I was just like, well, whatever. I'm just not going to promote it. Every once in a while, I would come out of that and I would like promote a picture or promote a video on Instagram or Facebook. But what I think really changed is being in this engagement group. I've been forced to um, create content that stands out more, if that makes sense. I've been forced to create or it's been pulling the creativity out of me more than what I could do on my own. And by me doing that, I've been doing things that I wasn't doing before, as in surprising myself with the video content or the thumbnails. So with that, I've also been posting more on Facebook or posting more on Instagram and just saying, hey, whoever sees this, they see it. If they don't, then whatever. Whoever subscribes to my channel, thank you. Whoever doesn't, whatever. Let me just keep going. And by me doing that, I've had people who I wouldn't even expect subscribing to me. I've had people who I wouldn't even expect watching my stuff or liking my stuff. And what I had to realize is, one, when my content got better, I got more interactions. But two, me just constantly posting, regardless of whether people interact with my stuff or not, then that's going to cause my interactions to grow and happen more over time. Because what I've learned is I have a lot of people who watch my videos, or I have a lot of people who are liking my stuff, but they don't always comment, like, or share, or do whatever. But after a while, they're like, "Oh, hey, I saw this," or "Hey, oh, hey, I saw that," and it's like, "Oh, okay, I had no idea." So it can be difficult from a self standpoint, but when I get over self and let's just say, hey, I'm just going to do this, then I realize that my reach is far greater than what I'll ever see. I'm not sure if I fully answered the question, but yeah. What are two things we don't know about you? Two things that you don't know about me. Well, my goddaughter asked if I was growing my hair back out, and I used to have dreads. My hair was super long. My hair came down to my elbows. So I used to have dreads, or locks. Sorry, my loctician would kill me if I said dreads. So I used to have locks, and my favorite sport is basketball. For me, everything is basketball. Yeah, I've never really been a football guy. My dad actually played. He made it to the NFL, and like he's stocky, and people see me and they say, "Hey, did you play football? What team did you play for?" I'm like, I don't play. I didn't play. I just was never really into it like that. Uh, Tristan, Tristan, when you get older, you'll learn that you respect the wishes of your spouse. It's it's not anything as seriously in the sense like I don't think that I really want to grow my hair back out. That's not a process that I really want to go through again, because although I like the look of having long hair, it's tedious getting there. Um, how easy of a transition to go from behind the camera to new more in front of the camera? Oh, now more in front of the camera. I would say it was it was easy in the sense because I felt like I was forced to. Um, the Christian creative, the point behind the Christian creative was to promote the creativity in others. And I know you've listened to it, Demarcus, but if you listen to any of my interviews, you never hear my voice on camera because I never wanted it to be about me. But having to transition into doing something else, it was it was easier than I thought it would be. It was actually much easier than I thought it would be. And I enjoyed it. It can be frustrating sometimes. Um, thank you, Andre. But yes, I enjoy it. It wasn't that hard. It can be frustrating sometimes because I'm gonna make a video called Imperfections and just talking about just yeah, because we live in a world where we feel like everything has to be perfect. And if you all saw how many times I've messed up or didn't put out stuff because I feel like this isn't right, or this isn't perfect, or it's just crazy. Um, that's great insight. Thank you, thank you. Are there going to be any more podcasts with you? So for those of you that don't know, this is, I guess, something that you didn't know. I did a podcast with my sister-in-law and with my brother Brandon. We had a podcast called Seated Discussions, and we were doing that up until COVID hit. But we actually need to get back into that, Brandon. I hope to. We hope to. I'm actually more busier now than when we were doing the podcast, but hopefully one day, Tristan. Um, so yeah, again, I thank you guys for coming today. I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure how many people were going to come in for the Q&A. We can go into one. We can go into a one. So if you guys have more questions, just keep bringing them. I would love to answer more questions. And again, make sure you guys follow DeMarcus, the Visionaries Media. Make sure you all follow Hanny as well. Oh, and also follow Chan as well. What did you want to be before being a photographer? What did I want to be? I I think I always my big goal was to always one day shoot a movie. Um, I don't know what that looked like. Um, I don't know. I don't think I knew what that looked like, but I always wanted to shoot a movie. And when I was a kid, I wanted to be an NBA player because of Mike. Because of Mike, I always wanted to be an NBA player. So yeah, shoot a movie, which is still one of my goals. But also, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an NBA player. My favorite thing besides photography, is it cheating if I say videography? Uh, is it cheating if I say videography? I love videography. I love creating content. Um, I love I love creating content, whether it be photography or videography. My favorite thing, I guess I can say, would be to play basketball. I love playing basketball. I just love being active. It doesn't matter what it is, whether we're playing kickball, whether we're playing flag football, whether it's laser tag. I love being active. Have I visited any African country? I have not visited any African country. The only places I've been to outside of the U.S. Um, is Canada, which is still technically North America, and Mexico, which I guess is still technically, well, I've been to Canada, I've been to Mexico, and then I've been to the Bahamas. So those are the three places that I've been outside of the United States. This is fun though. This is fun. What do you all have planned for your weekend? What are you guys doing for the weekend? I guess I can ask questions as well. So this is not a question that anybody asked me, but I will answer it just because it came to my head. My goal for this year, by the end of this year, is I would love to reach 1,000 subscribers. I would like to hit 500 by July 1st, and um, I would love to have 1,000 by the end of the year. When you get 1,000 subscribers, it's 1,000 subscribers and 400 watch hours. Then you can get monetized, and if I could start getting paid for what I'm doing, then that would be amazing. So I would love to be able to do that by the end of the year. Love to get to 1,000. Is Jordan walking yet? She is not walk. She's not walking yet. But this morning alone, I was walking with her in the sense I'm holding her hands and having her walk. Um, and she let go of one hand and was just holding one of my hands and walking. So she's not walking on her own, but she's close. She's trying to get there. She's definitely trying to get there. Hey, Keisha. So she's just growing so fast on me. She's growing so fast. But I love her. I love her. Yes, she has fallen before. She fell just yesterday. I talked about that one a little earlier. And apparently the fact that I have video proof just makes it worse. But hey. You guys have any more any more questions for me in regards to content, in regards to my business, in regards to life, whatever? I have any more questions here? New recipes. I'm probably not a good person to get recipes from because everything everything that I cook or love to make is, outside of your health routine. So I don't want to set you up for failure. I'm a type of person that I love meats. I love my food fried. I have cut back. I have cut a lot. I've gotten a lot better. Like the dinners I've had the last 2 nights have been vegetarian meals. So no meat for me those 2 nights. But on today though, oh man. If y'all don't know, one thing that you should know about me is I love to laugh and I love to have a good time, which is probably one of the reasons why I love capturing memories in videography. Um, but I just, I absolutely love to laugh. I absolutely love to have a good time. Oh, recipes or suggestions for Jordan. Sorry. Sorry about that. So what I will say is one thing that Chanel does with the baby is if there are foods that she does not like, if there's a food that Jordan doesn't like, what Chanel will do is she will take that food and make it into a muffin or into a pancake, and she'll eat it that way. So like we have a bunch of different purees and things like that, and she loves the purees, but there are some where she won't really eat it, like a sweet potato or some or a veggie one that she won't eat and she doesn't like. So Chanel will take that and make it into a muffin or make it into a pancake, and she'll tear it up. She loves it. Popeyes or Chick-fil-A? Please don't disrespect Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A all the way. You guys are hanging tough with me today. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate y'all so much. So another question, or not a question, but this is me. So just more so just saying this out loud. So one thing that hi, okay, who is the best cook, you or your wife? If I even dared say myself, I'd be disrespecting her because she's the better cook. She's the best cook. She does it, and she does it more often than I do, so which is one of the reasons why she's the better cook. But she can look at something on TV and just be like, okay, I want to make that, and just whip it up without looking at the instructions, and just it's like I don't know how she does it. Like she can watch a cooking channel for 5 minutes and say, okay, this is what they did. This is what I'm gonna do. I have all the ingredients, and like boom, she's done it. Um, but if the crazy thing is like she didn't grow up cooking. Not to say that she didn't ever cook, but she didn't grow up as someone who cooked often. So the fact that she can just look at something like this is what I want to make, and I'm never disappointed. I have gotten a lot better with cooking in 2021, but she is still a better cook. Popeye's chicken sandwich is overrated. Who makes better burgers? She makes better burgers. The only thing I make better than my wife, I would have to say, are French fries, Recently, it's been fried pork chops, and she loves my steaks. So all the unhealthy stuff, which is not a good thing, but yes. Can you? Yes, yes. I can have. Yes, I can have her send you that stuff. I can have her send you the recipes. What do you all use? What do you all give or make for the baby? Just so I know. We have purees for the baby. We have some of the food, like we'll give her the foods that we eat. Um, she likes everything. Like it's not much stuff that she doesn't like. She ate lamb recently and loved it. She doesn't like bananas except for when I'm eating a banana. Like this morning, she ate half my banana. But if you try to put bananas on a plate for her, she doesn't eat it. Um, she loves chicken. She loves uh, burgers. And not to say that we're like fattening her up, but like if we have something, then we'll give her a little bit of whatever we have, and she'll crush it. She absolutely loves oranges. She'll have an orange halfway in her mouth and already reaching down for another orange. She's just the kid loves to eat. One thing I've been forced to do due to the pandemic is I've been forced to cut my own hair. Um, I'm not necessarily forced, but I'm just not comfortable with going back to the barbershop at this time. So until I can go back to the until I feel comfortable enough to go back to the barbershop, then I'll just be cutting my own hair. So I feel like my haircuts look good, but I don't know how to shape myself up yet. So it's a win. It's a win with the haircut, not so much with the shape up. Purees. I make all his food, so he eats everything we eat except for shellfish. Isaiah is the same way, but with bananas. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell her to send you the stuff, the recipes for the recipes for the muffins and the pancakes. You watched my video on pregnant by faith. Was it stressful when baby Jordan was born? Um, it was stressful in the sense that no problem. We had Jordan in the beginning. Not it wasn't the very beginning, but like the early part of this whole pandemic. So we didn't have family that was able to come to the hospital. It was just me and her. Um, so it was stressful in that sense, but the hospital staff was super, super helpful. They came in, they checked on us, they made sure that we were good to go with everything. So it was stressful, but her pregnancy itself was more stressful than Jordan actually being born. What does a typical day consist of? Okay, so my wife and I we don't do childcare. We care for our daughter ourselves. So um what it is my wife works during the day and then I work the afternoon to evening. So I typically will have the baby from 8 o'clock in the morning. Mind you, she does get up earlier. I am not a morning person and I'm still working on that. But I'll typically have her from like 7:38 in the morning up until about 2 to 4 in the afternoon. And then I go to work and I work until 10:30 or so. So when I create content, it's during the baby snaps. So, but when I get her, I play with her, feed her breakfast, play with her some more. Like, I just try to teach her different things, like, how to walk or teaching her different words out of a book. Just being active with her. We don't let her watch TV just because we're not at that point where we want her watching TV. We don't want that to be the thing that stimulates her. We don't want that thing. We don't want that to be the thing that has her calm down. I definitely don't want her to be a tablet baby. Y'all know what I mean. Just yeah, I just don't want her to be like that. But because of that, it just requires me to give her so much more of my attention because she's very active. She loves to pet. She loves to Shut up, Brandon. She loves to play, which she gets from me because my mom always tells me I was a wild child, and she is definitely on her way. Um, so yes, play with her, feed her, just let her, be active, get into different things, explore. I'll take her on walks, let her get outside, get some fresh air. Um, I I have to always have to make sure that I take some time to read my devotionals. Always have to make sure that I take some time to pray. Um, and yeah, then I go to work. I come home, and I'm the type person I can't um, just come home and go to sleep. I have to unwind. So many nights I don't go to sleep until like 1 or later, just because it's a process for me to unwind. Um, so yeah, does that fully answer your question, Demarcus? But that's a typical day. Time with the baby, taking her on walks, letting her play, feeding her, working, um, spending time with the wife. We actually started watching the Snyder Cut of Justice League last night. She wasn't really for it. I'm enjoying it. It's still not quite what I was expecting, but it's still better than the first movie already, or the initial movie that was presented to us already. So she's probably not going to finish it. We'll probably end up watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier tonight. But yes, that's a typical day for me. That is a typical day for me. Um, Brandon, leave me alone. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Yeah. So that's Demarcus. That's one of the reasons why over the last week my videos have been coming at like 11:55, 11:59 at night because I didn't get a chance to do what I needed to do earlier in the day. So I do it when I get home from work. That's why. Yeah. This is like my blood brother, y'all. My brother Brandon, when I tell you we be cutting up when we're together, we be cutting up. Vandy too, he be cutting up as well. Vandy's probably the worst out of the three of us, but we just love to have a good time. We love to laugh. We love to joke. Um, yeah, we just love to have a good time. So fun fact, all three of us. So before one thing, I do have a large family. Um, I do have a large family. I'm so okay. So you guys are asking great questions, but what I want to do for my birthday is I want to do a video called 35 Facts About Me. And some of these questions that y'all are asking me are going to be answered in this video. So it's like I want to answer it. But I do have a large family, Demarcus. I have 3 brothers, 2 sisters. I'm the oldest of 4 and the third of 6. So I'll let you figure that one out. But yeah, I'm the oldest of 4 and the third of 6. And yeah, yeah. And I'm the nicest one and the most chill. But even outside of that, excuse me, we have a whole lot of family. We have a whole lot of family on both sides. On both sides, the family is large. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Um, so Brandon, well, obviously I've known Brandon all his life, but me, him, and Vandy used to be in a Bible study group, a Bible study that I used to teach. And when I was teaching this Bible study, Brandon was dating his girlfriend, and Vandy was single, and I was single. And the Bible study was for people who were single, and it was called Swim, Single with the Intentions of Marrying. And again, me and Vandy were single, and Brandon was dating his girlfriend. And here we are now, 7 years later. Brandon is married and has more kids. Vandy's married. And him and his wife just had a baby shortly before me and my wife had our first baby. So it's just crazy to see how far we've all come in life, or just life in general. Life is so short, man, and time flies by quick, especially when you're having fun, and especially when you have kids. Do we have any more questions? Any more questions today? If not, then we are going to wrap it up. But I give y'all a few more. Um, just give y'all another minute or so. Um, yeah, just let me know. But I definitely enjoyed this. I definitely had fun doing this. It was fun connecting with y'all today. I appreciate y'all taking time out on today and just hanging with me over the last hour. It's been fun. It's definitely been fun. Maybe I'll do this. I don't know, maybe once a month or so. Just go live. And favorite music. Um, my favorite music. Uh, I would have to say my favorite music is Christian hip hop. Um, Nowadays, I just tell people hip hop because they think it's corny, but it's really not. But Christian hip hop for me it's been crucial in my life, because there was a time in my life where I felt like I was not say lost in my Christian faith, but I was really trying to figure things out. And for me, Christian hip hop was a mentor to me when I felt like I didn't have a mentor in the faith. So just a lot of it just helps my mental, like help my thought process as far as processing things, and just okay, so this is what I'm supposed to do, or okay, I'm not the only one. Um, yeah, so Christian hip hop for sure. Tea or coffee? I honestly don't like either one. I don't like tea and I don't like coffee. I'll say tea. Um, I would definitely say tea, only because there are certain teas I can drink, but I don't drink coffee at all. But if I have tea, it has to be super super sweet. Like, people love McDonald's sweet tea. My sweet tooth is so strong that McDonald's sweet tea is not that sweet at all. I love Andy Mineo. Andy Mineo was dope. Um, I definitely love Andy Mineo and his music. Yeah. Any more questions? Any more questions? How many times a week, man? Okay, I'm about to get in trouble because Vandy. Matter of fact, okay. So here's what I want y'all to do. Everybody who's in this chat, I appreciate y'all. If y'all can just drop either your Instagram handle, or yeah, just drop your handles, because a lot of you all do dope stuff. Vandy is a physical trainer, personal trainer. I'm sorry, personal trainer. Um, and both him and his wife be killing it. How many times a week do I work out? What's the next question? So, I I have this debate with my wife all the time, because she tells me I need to work out, and I do. But I consider when I'm at work a workout, because I'm on my feet all day. I'm constantly moving around. Like my Fitbit, I get my 10,000 steps by being at work. So I feel like that constant movement is a workout. But when was the last time I went out of my way to work out? Uh, man, probably early pandemic. Early pandemic. Pre-pandemic, I was going to the gym. I was playing basketball 3 days a week. I was going to the gym playing basketball 3 days a week. I had gotten into a nice rhythm, a nice flow of playing basketball 3 days a week for 2 hours a week, and was like super in shape. I really enjoyed it. And then the pandemic hit, so the basketball court shut down. Even now, the basketball hoops here at the gyms are still shut down. So I haven't been able to play like I want to. But in the early part of the pandemic, me and some friends had a push-up challenge that we were doing, and then we kind of got away from it. But I really need to get back into it. I did buy a jump rope recently, so I'm gonna get into jump roping. And my wife, she got P90X, so I'm gonna start jump roping and I'm gonna start doing P90X. So that way, the next time I'm asked that question, then I don't feel like I don't want to answer it. What is your wife better than you in? She's definitely better than me at cooking. Um, she's a morning person. Like, I've never seen anybody so chipper in the morning, and then my daughter is the same way. Like, they just it's like, I feel like they wake up with smiles on their faces, and I'm just like, "Why?" I'm a night owl. Like, I can be up till, like, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and be productive or just chill and be fine. But she just, like it's like she'll go to bed early, but then it's like she wakes up like I'm just like, "How?" Um, but yeah, she's definitely a better morning person. She's definitely a better cook. Um, she I feel like I'm a great listener, but she's definitely a better listener than I am. She's definitely a better listener than I am. Um, she's a better dancer too. Tiffany, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Tiffany, look, Tiffany, I when I took okay, I'm happy that you hopped in here. I love her channel. Make sure y'all follow Tiffany's channel. She provides so much great content. Like, not just as far as like she provides stuff on faith. She provides stuff for like YouTube tips, and her channel is amazing. It's simply amazing. I love her channel. I love everything about her channel. Make sure that y'all subscribe to her. It's like I haven't been disappointed by anything that I've seen. I even went back and watched some of her old stuff, and oh my gosh, like she is. I don't even like saying the term "killing it," but she is killing it. My thoughts on Kirk, especially being a parent. Um, wow. What are my thoughts on Kirk? I'll say this. I feel like what happened with Kirk and his family should have stayed with Kirk and his family. Me personally, I I feel like families get into it all the time, but I feel like I feel like what happens with families should stay within it. Like, even if you all go through it and people know that you go through it, like, just keep that in the family. Um, do I think that Kirk should have talked to his son that way? I'm not saying that I don't agree with it, but I also feel like I can't personally comment on it because I don't know the full story. Um, and that's one thing that I've learned to not do is like I will not comment on anything on social media if I do not know the full story. So I don't know, but it does go to show you that every Christian has a breaking point because people I think a lot of times people look at Christians as either hypocrites or holier than thou, but every Christian has a breaking point. Um, what made you what made you say your wife was the one? Ha, man. What made me say my wife was the one? So I kind of mentioned this before that her and I met at a Bible study. I was invited to her church one day because they were having an event. Or she was having an event at her church, and at this time, he's like, she's cute. She's cute. But I didn't really think too much more into it. But at her event, it was the way I saw her worship God. And when I saw her in that element, I was like, yo, that's it right there. Because I think as a man or even as a person, we always look at a person and say, oh, she's the one, or I like this person, or I can see myself marrying this person. When I saw her that day, I not only saw her as like somebody I could marry, but the type of person I needed in my life. Because when you look at a spouse, the spouse has to add value. The word says, "He who findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor." Um, it's unfortunate, but some people feel like they marry a person, whether it's a husband or a wife, and they don't feel that favor. I have my wife is so amazing, and I need her in every way. I've learned and I've grown so much, but it was the way that I saw her worship God. I was like, okay, God, that's the one. I answered this question earlier. I screenshot when you asked me this question before, Tiff, and I told people there's only one right answer to that, and the answer is Michael Jackson. We grew up in a Michael Jackson home. I only know two Prince songs, and that's "Dove Cry" and "Purple Rain." Michael Jackson. It's okay. It's okay. How has my perspective changed since becoming a father? Um. Oh. Oh no. How has my perspective changed since becoming a father? It's changed in two ways. It's changed in the sense where before before I knew that I was having a girl, I wanted a boy. I really wanted a boy first because in my mind, I have to have a boy because he needs to be able to protect his sisters. And that was my, whole reason for wanting a boy first, so he could protect his younger siblings. Um, so when I found out I was having a girl, I wasn't disappointed. Like I actually was more excited, which I didn't know that was possible, but I was more excited. So that was one. I think by having her, it created a level of love and a level of patience that I didn't know that I had. Meaning, if I had a son first, I'm sure I probably would have been like, being like that stereotypical, tough dad, father, sorry, tough love type of dad. But with her, it's shown me to love in a different way. Like I don't have to be hard on her. And granted, she's only 10 months, almost 11 months, but I still don't have to be like hard on her. I can be more compassionate. Um, I can be more compassionate. I can be more loving. I can just be more gentle with loving her, but not just her, but also loving my future kids. But also, man, you understand why a lot of parents are the way they are because like you see kids sometimes and you're like, man, why isn't the parent doing this or how could the kid do that? But then it's like when you're a parent, I'm just a parent of one. And then it's like, yo, kids are a lot of work. Like I love my daughter. I love her. And nothing will ever change that. But you realize how much work really goes into it. Um, you just realize how much work goes into being a parent. So yeah. Uh honestly, Malcolm or Martin, I would have to say Martin. I've honestly never studied too much on Malcolm X, if I'm being completely honest. But I've been more so with I'd say more so with Martin just because um I believe in having a more gentle approach to solve issues. Um, Pre-church days, I was definitely more of a Malcolm type of guy, just in with approaching things. But I believe that Martin's approach to defuse situations was the. I feel like that's the best approach. Both were effective. Like they both were very effective. But for me, I would take more of a Martin approach, just because. Which is I kind of touched on this in my keep the same energy video when I was saying that not to keep the same energy and not to go into things a certain way, like not to go in things aggressive. I just feel like going into things with peace or not reflecting what people show you. Um, just because somebody is rude or ugly to me doesn't mean I have to have the same approach because um, I believe that love builds and hate destroys. Years ago, Ty Trevor gave this analogy of a guy walking down the street, and he said, imagine it's a guy walking down the street and it's raining, it's pouring, it's thundering, the wind's blowing. If he's wearing a jacket, he's going to zip that jacket up and tighten it and put his hood on, and it's like he's real tight. But if the sun is on him and the sun just like gently like eases onto him, and then eventually like he'll warm up and he'll open up his jacket, take it off. But his point in saying that was, if I come at somebody, I'm like, like if I'm coming at somebody like that, then they're just going to close up on me, like they're going to tighten up, and they're not going to have to hit, they're not going to hear anything I have to say, or they're going to respond in anger. But if I come at them gently with love and with respect, then I feel like you'll get better results. I feel like I'm kind of rambling, but I hope that answers your question. You guys got any other questions? This is definitely, man, I'm really enjoying this. I am really enjoying this. Yeah, I definitely appreciate you all coming out with me on today. Um, we'll go just a few more minutes if anybody has any more questions. Pork chop or steak depends on how it's cooked. Um, Nothing better than a fried pork chop, but steaks are good as well. If you win the lotto, what are the first three things you would do? Uh, if I win the lotto, what are the first three things I'm gonna do? First, I'm gonna tell my wife. I'm gonna tell her not to tell nobody because I don't need no new cousins or no new siblings at that point. No people coming out of the woodwork. Um, so I'm gonna tell her first. I'm gonna tithe, and then I don't know. I might have to save because we don't know how much it's gonna be. We don't know how much the lottery is. Um, Coasters for life. Hey, what's up? Thorpe Park Media. How's it going? How do you stay intentional about making time to create for your business? Oh man, I just have to be relentless, honestly, and being intentional about making time to create. Um, I explained a little earlier just about how busy my days are. So um, one thing or what I typically have to do in order to create is either have to create with the baby or create around the baby. Meaning I either have to create with her, like if I'm taking her on a walk, I can record while I'm walking, or I can create while we're out. Um, or I do it when she's asleep, or when I get home from work, which typically isn't until late. Some days I, spend time with the wife, and since she's a early, since she goes to sleep early, I wait until she goes to sleep. Um, when she goes to sleep, then I'll get up and then go create, which sometimes isn't good because I'll be up for like another 2 to 3, 4 hours just creating. But it caused me to be intentional, because I mean I'm naturally a person who just likes to chill and likes to relax. I like to play games and things like that. But I can't. It's been well over a month since I've touched any video games. It's been like I rarely get a chance to watch TV anymore because unless I'm watching TV with my wife, then I've taken that time. Um, I'm using that time to create content. To create content. Tiffany, are you still in here? I just want to say, like, she's one of the people who motivates me to keep going. Um, she definitely motivates me to keep going, and um, yeah, it. I just appreciate every video that you drop. The baby, yes, the baby is a creator. I actually have an outfit with her, for her that says, the outfit, it says future influencer. I need to do a photo shoot with her, but she is definitely a creator. She likes to, she's created some great hair, I'll tell you that. Um, can you show us some photo? I don't know how to do all that stuff. This is my first time on a live, so unfortunately, oh, can I show you some of the photos in my background? Give me 1 second. Yes, I've been on a roller coaster. I can show you some of the photos. What is a short version of your testimony? The short version of my testimony is so. mm, I don't even know where to start. The short version of my testimony. So I grew up not really going to church. We would go to church sometimes, but it wasn't often. And I honestly had gotten discouraged about going to church when I was a kid because we would go and I'd have to go to Sunday school. I had to go to Sunday school, and I wasn't there often. But every time I was there, they would say, "Hey, can you pray us out?" And I'm like, I don't even know like how to pray, so I didn't like being put on the spot. So it would discourage me from wanting to go. So every time my mom would go, I would make sure that I would stay up to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, so that way I could be asleep and not go with her in the morning. Or I would just put the covers over my head so that she would think I was asleep because she didn't always make us go. Um, and I didn't like that feeling. And when I would go with my friends as we got older, I would find the closest wall to sit at, and I would put my head on the wall and go to sleep. Like that was my church experience. And around the same time, like I was also just hanging out in the neighborhood and doing whatever it is that everybody else was doing in the neighborhood. And that was just my life. And it wasn't for me, there was nothing wrong with that. But it wasn't until I was 17, going on 18, that a friend of mine, his mom asked me, when are you coming with us to church? And I would always avoid this question. And finally, I was just like, well, I'll go this Sunday, which was that Easter Sunday. And I went, and I just never looked back. Um, a month later, I had given my life to the Lord, but I still didn't know what that meant. And I still lived the same way for like another 2 years. It wasn't until 2 years later where I just wanted to really get to know him for myself and just become more knowledgeable, because I felt like, yes, I can call myself a Christian now, but um, I can call myself a Christian now, but I still don't know what that means. So it wasn't until I started studying for myself, it wasn't until I started just learning for myself, that I really began to see a change in myself. So that's the short version. That's definitely the short version. Yeah, I can show you. I can't. Hold on. Here is one of my favorite pictures of me and my wife. Can y'all see that? That's one of my favorite pictures of me and my wife. This was so for this picture. Funny story. I told you guys that I love to dance, that I love to have a good time. And at our wedding, they had to pull me off the dance floor in order to get this photo. I did not want to leave. I'm like, I'm having a good time. Please do not move me. But they had to remove me. They had not remove me, but they had to, get me to take some more pictures. And this was the first picture that we took after they took me off the dance floor. Okay. Yep. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I just had to laugh to myself about something. You guys have any other questions? I always say I'll do this for a few more minutes, and here it is. We're almost at an hour and a half, and you guys are still hanging with me, and we're gaining viewers. So I really appreciate y'all. Um, I really do. It's honestly it's because of you all in general that I'm able to continue to grind. I mean, my wife, like first and foremost, she pushes me to create content and has been pushing me lately to do even more and giving me ideas for certain things. And then I look at other, YouTubers, um, or content creators who are doing their thing on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. And it's like I see it and I get motivated, and I just appreciate it because I mean we're all meant to encourage and motivate each other. And I love seeing people create. I love to see what people do. Um, and there's something special about there's just something special about it. There's something special to me about seeing people in their element, seeing people create, seeing people uh, in their zone. Um, so yeah, do we have two more questions? I'll take two more questions and then we'll wrap it up. Two more and then we will be done. I told y'all, I mentioned earlier how one thing as a creative that I struggle with is eating because I can just sit here and work all day and not eat, but brothers got to eat. And if y'all haven't already, again, make sure y'all subscribe to the Visionaries Media. Make sure you subscribe to Tiffany. I'm not sure if Hanny is still here, but make sure y'all subscribe to her. They all have dope content as well as Vandy. Vandy is a personal trainer and his business is dope. Vandy's been at it for how long have you been doing this now, Vandy? I think he's been doing it for like at least 5 or 6 years. But he's a dope personal trainer, so make sure you all subscribe to these people, follow these people, just support. Just to support each other. We all want to stay in this thing together because we all need each other. About 5, yeah. So that's what's up, man. I remember when you first started, so just to see where you are now, it's good to see your growth and your progress. And um, what is one of my favorite quotes? Uh, what is? So I'll give you two. One of my favorite quotes. Well, I've had to stop saying this. My wife told me I need to stop saying this, but it is what it is. Um, there are just certain things that you can't change, and just it is what it is. But I've cut back on saying that because I sometimes it could just be taken in a negative way, so I try not to say it as much. But one of my other quote is actually a scripture, and it's Proverbs 10:19. Um, I can't even remember. Hold on 1 second. Got the Bible right here. The quote is Proverbs 10:19 says, "When words are many, sin is not absent, but he who holds his tongue is wise." And again, it says, "When words are many, sin is not absent, but he who holds his tongue is wise." And it just goes back to what I was saying about the whole Kirk Franklin thing. Like, I'm not going to speak about it because I don't want to be wrong. One, it's just a messy situation in general, so I don't want to add more mess to it. But two, it's just I don't know enough about it, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. And not everything needs to be stated. Um, I used to be the type of person I spoke before I thought. It just whatever came out came out. But I've just learned in over time that that's not it's not a great way to live. Especially if I don't want people talking to me any kind of way or just blurting out whatever. So I don't always have to put my input or whatever I have to say on social media. I don't always have to say everything I'm thinking to somebody. Um, Simply put, not everything needs to be said. Okay. If there's one more question, I will take one more. But I am going to wrap this up at 1:30. It says I have a minute before it's an hour and 30 minutes. So I'll give you one more minute if there's one more question. But this has been fun. I keep saying that, but I really enjoy it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who's been in here today. Um, Thank you, Henny. Thank you, Vandy. Thank you, Demarcus. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Chan, who was in here earlier. Thank you, Keisha, who was in there with Vandy. Thank you, Denise and Audrina. Thank you, everybody. I really just, again, I appreciate each and every one of you. And I think I might do a live maybe once a month. I'm not going to commit to that right now, but this was definitely good. I enjoyed it. It was definitely a nice change of pace. My biggest fear is to not be able to see my children grow up. Yeah, I want to see my children grow up. I want to see my children have children. I want to see my children have children. Um, yeah. Who is my hero? Uh, that's a great question. I honestly do not have an answer for that. Um, I honestly do not have an answer for that. I do. I don't know why I say, I don't know why I say, I don't know. I do. Um, and this might sound cliche, but honestly and truly, um, Jesus is my hero. And I say that in the sense because so many times I've tried to emulate other people or I've looked up to other people in some form or fashion. I always feel like I'm disappointed. And I feel like for me, I feel like a hero is somebody that I look up to and I always want to strive to be like as much as possible. And I feel like for me, that's just my hero in the sense where I always strive to be more and more like him. And I'll never be perfect. Like I'll never, and regardless of what anybody else says, like whether people believe in him or not, for me, it's like that's my hero. And I have that tunnel vision. Like when I was a kid, Jordan was my hero. But when you watch The Last Dance, you see all these things like Jordan was tripping with some things. But for me, like it's just Jesus is my hero. And I've learned so much ever since I've, come into a relationship. I've grown so much ever since I've come into that relationship. And to me, I feel like there, in a lot of ways, he gets a bad rap for things because a lot of times people will have they have the wrong idea about what Christianity looks like based on how other people act. So for me, I always want to love people or treat people in the way that I know Jesus would have treated them. I don't ever want to treat people in the way that sometimes I feel like they deserve to be treated. Like sometimes I have to talk things out, or tell my wife like, "Hey, this is what's going on," or vent to my brothers like, "Yo, this just happened." But it's like, no, like it's literally for me in my life, like, what would Jesus do? So I often have to reflect back on that, and that's why he's my hero. Really enjoying this, brother. Keep going. I don't know if you mean keep going today or keep going with live videos going forward. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that. DeMarcus, you really came with the questions today. You really came with the questions today. But again, thank you all. Thank you to everybody who was in this room today. Should do a clubhouse. What do you message me, DeMarcus? Let me know what you have in mind for a clubhouse. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. My wife says I like to talk. I don't think I do. She says I like to talk. But I come from a family of talkers. My mom is a talker. My dad is a talker. Her mom is a talker. So it's just I come from a lot of talkers, and I like to teach. So that's where it all comes from. That's where it all comes from. But again, I really appreciate. I actually did create a club on Clubhouse, a Christian creative club. Because again, for those who may be in here now but who weren't in here before, the whole reason why I started creating content, not being a videographer, but the whole reason why I started creating content for YouTube was for my series that I was doing called The Christian Creative. And I love to create content. I love to interview people. I love to hear people's stories. So I ask a lot of questions to other people. I ask them a lot of questions because I like to hear their story. So that's the reason for me starting. That's the reason for me becoming a content creator. That's the reason for me starting YouTube, and that's the reason why I created that group on Clubhouse. So if you're on Clubhouse, then just search for me and you'll see the club in my bio. But yeah, again, I appreciate you all. Thank you guys for coming in. We are at the end. I hope you all have a great Saturday or a great rest of the day whenever you're watching this. So I will holler at y'all later. Y'all take care.